Okay, we got some important Bitcoin price action as we progress through the beginning of July. I'm going to explain to you guys why I'm seeing some very important price action. And this has to do with the bigger picture, understanding that there's some shifts happening in the macro environment, and that can highly influence Bitcoin, in my opinion, to honestly just really set it up for a proper setup to finally for us to see the end of this correction that we started not too long ago and continue the overall bigger picture bull run, which we are still in at the moment. We do not have any signs that the bear market has started, right? That bear cycle. So here's why this is so important, right? The Eastern War that's been happening that sort of, faded away very quickly. Some negotiation ceasefire and some negotiations started. We're still waiting on more updates on that. Then we have optimism, evolving for a potential rate cut that may happen sooner rather than later. But we will see because we had that jobs report recently, which the report shows that it's going to be a little bit easier for the Fed to sort of hold rates if they really want to. We're still waiting on that CPI report, and then of course we'll see what Jerome Powell says on the next FOMC meeting. But now we have tariff news, or at least more pressure on tariff news that is beginning to emerge once again. So we will see if those tariffs end up creating negative headlines or not. But regardless, with this in mind, we got to pay attention how not just as all of these articles begin to come out, but how Bitcoin is trading and where we are at currently within its structure. Because right now, at least in my opinion, I am seeing a potential shift in liquidity, or at least bullish liquidity, sort of trying to set itself up for a lot of short-term capital gains to be taken from bigger players and potentially start creating a little bit of fear, allowing bears to take over. But I'm gonna explain what I mean right now. So in previous videos, I kept saying I was waiting for bullish confirmation, which is basically a higher low forming from here, and then having the price break resistance and creating that higher high. And so far, it's holding. I mean, just like I said in yesterday's video and the one before that, I'm trying to see if the price can hold support within here. This is the support for this retracement, factoring in this move right here. And then I said, well, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing, you know, trading platforms, or not trading structures starting to form weakness. And what I mean by that, I'm going to give you guys a summary. Like I said in yesterday's video, we go up, we try to find resistance within this blue retracement, and then allowing the price to come down, go up, right? So down into support. Currently, this support is factoring in this move. So it's a fib extension, and then this is just an estimate, and then another resistance estimate for a recovery from this dip will be right here, as long as we hold around 104.5k. This will be the retracement, and then from here we can find resistance to come down and potentially retest deeper value, this purple area, which I've been covering in so many videos. It's a overall retracement for this move higher, which is very, very similar, and I talked about this before, but I'll show you guys once again. Is very similar to the breakout that we had in 2024, where we were in deep value. We go up, breaking previous resistances, we come down into a overall proper retracement, briefly not breaking the 0.5 retracement, allowing the price to come up. Currently, during this time, as you can see, the overall retracement down for a little bullish recovery pretty much filled it perfectly, finding most of its resistance within the 0.618 retracement, and then allowing the price to come back down, break the 0.5, allowing a one more dip and a more attractive buying opportunity to continue accumulating before the price pumps up much, much higher. And this looks very similar to what we're seeing now, where we have, we come out of deep value, we go up, breaking previous resistances, and now the price is fluctuating, doing its thing, coming down into the overall retracement, holding above the 0.5, which is basically 95K. So it's holding above it, and then we go up. Swing high is not enough to hold, or not, it broke this swing high, but it was not enough to hold above it, showing that, hey, a lot of the short term optimism, the bullishness, especially in the short term, isn't as strong as we may think. So now we're trying to see if we can see the price come down, trend its way down into the overall retracement once again, potentially, possibly allowing it to hit the 0.5 under 95K. And then from there, much more attractive and no-brainer, in my opinion, buying opportunity before we start seeing one more really good pump in this last year of the bull cycle, allowing the price to come up into much higher price estimates, in my opinion, like I have here and like I've been covering in a lot of videos. But I did, and I'm going to show you guys a picture, I did, and I've shown this before, I did accumulate 45K so far into a Bitcoin swing trade with BitU. So far, the position, that swing trade I'm showing you, it's broken down into two, but they're both cash positions. One of them was filled as a phantom position for some reason. But so far, overall, it is up $1,182.56 as of this moment. I do expect it to go in the red briefly, and I'm going to use that as an opportunity to accumulate. But really, if I have to be purely honest, is just because we've seen an overall retracement filled in the past does not mean it has to happen again. And structures tend to repeat, but they don't always have to repeat exactly the same. So as of right now, until we have bullish confirmation, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add another 25K at least into that swing trade, $5,000 increments at a time. And I want to use support areas as an opportunity to accumulate more. Now, it is the weekend. The stock market is not open, so I can't buy any BitU. But if the price stays within this range, or at least close to it, I want to add another 5K. And then if it comes down into the support, I want to add another 5K. And then, I'll be looking at short-term, very short-term opportunities to take long and short positions. If the week opens and we're still holding below 109.5K, so still holding within this resistance, I do want to go ahead and open some shorts, just for me, in my opinion, using the swing high right here as an SL, and then using this support area as a TP. And then from there, I'll be swapping it longs. At the SL would be the bottom, so 104K, TP being 107.5. And then from there, again, doing the same thing, using previous smaller picture resistances as SLs, and TPs being another area to look at down below as support. I want to keep adding to that overall, BitU position, the swing trade, as an opportunity to accumulate early before and continue to accumulate as the price dips before it goes much higher. But I also have a view that, we don't have to come down. Instead, the price can find support and hold support earlier than anticipated, allowing the price to just continue its trend much higher, because we are not far away from all-time highs, and we are not far away from this area at 114.5, but I'm going to say 115K, where I believe a lot of FOMO and a lot of bullish volume and liquidity can flow into Bitcoin, allowing it to go much higher. And someone made a good point recently where, a lot of people are swapping their cold storage and buying, like, for example, IBIT or Bitcoin ETFs, because it's a lot more convenient. It's a little faster, and there's a lot of countries that have strict laws, and they're trying to make it more strict. So a lot of people are, doing that, and that can show a little bit of delay, a little bit of weakness in the Bitcoin price until eventually those ETFs factor it into, swap it over from their customers into their actual Bitcoin holdings, and that can take a little bit of time. So I do believe that's also a good reason why we're seeing weakness in the short term. So it's just a matter of time before Bitcoin breaks out. But until that happens, I'm looking to accumulate patiently, and early before Bitcoin goes much higher, so I can make a really good, decent profit off of that swing trade. But until then, I'll still be taking short-term trades. Now, in order for me to want to accumulate at higher prices instead of lower would be to confirm that this is not a bullish fake out, because even though we broke the swing high and we're still holding over the swing low, it's very, very possible that this can be a very oddly, you know, played out textbook head and shoulders pattern that can be very bearish. So as of right now, I'm sort of trying to step back and wait for a little bit more confirmation that, this swing high will be broken and we'll be looking at much higher prices. And as of right now, really for me, what that looks like is, 109.5K being broken. If we can break over 109.5K and actually hold above it, then I'll be looking at accumulating, um, continuing to accumulate more BitU and into that Bitcoin swing trade a little bit higher, which I'm completely fine with, because as long as I accumulate the majority of that position, or even more, I want to accumulate 25K more at least. But as long as I get another 10 to 15 in there, below 115K, I'm happy with that, because overall, what I'm looking at is a jump from 115K to 130K at least, and that's where I really want to. That This is the majority of the price difference that I want to capture, and then begin to shave the position when we break over 130K, and then slowly shave out of the position as we go much higher. I do believe Bitcoin could go much, much higher, but I'm not here to be greedy or hopeful. I have no problem with shaving the position early, even if it goes much, much higher, because at that point, even if it starts shaving and there's enough bullish momentum, the price will just jump up overnight like crazy multiple times. And, if that were to happen, great. I still have some exposure. But yeah, that's my plan to sort of keep going with that so far. So yeah, I'm looking for lower prices, fluctuative, fluctuating its way down to lower prices. But if I do get that extra confirmation that, hey, potentially we're not going to be looking at discounted prices anymore, and instead we're just going to start pumping higher, then, as long as I continue to accumulate below 150K, I'm 115K, then I'm good. And once again, as of right now, until that happens, if it were to happen, I'm looking at lower prices, just like I showed you guys earlier, and taking those short-term trades as well as I accumulate the overall swing trade in the background as well. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on that trade. I'll keep you guys updated on my thoughts on Bitcoin. Hope you guys enjoyed, and take care.